Do we have you this time, Tone?
Guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Well, I was screaming, hello, hello.
Oh, man, how you been, man? Welcome back.
I'm good. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, always. We always love talking to you.
Well, I appreciate it. I love calling in, guys. I really do.
Thanks, man. So, you're like got this whole thing going on. I mean, you were like, not only like one of Philly's favorite sons, but I mean, like you were like just Mr. Creative, and you're doing more now, and now you're like doing your own with food mashups.
Yeah, when I did FrankenFood, the creativity of the people and the amateur chefs and the professional chefs on the show just really affected me. Like I couldn't get over how passionate people were about food, and not just food in general, just exploring the boundaries of food. And it was a game show, and the food was really outrageous, and it was great, and it was a lot of fun. But it made me realize that there's a culture going on now in this country of people that, devote all of their time and creativity to coming up with these new flavors and these new tastes and combining and mashing cultures and traditions, and just matching them. And I did a little research, and there were a lot of restaurants that were doing this, and a lot of food trucks that were doing this. And, people were really inspired by this. And I said, you know what? This needs to be a show. I mean, it needs to be a show where I go to these people. I don't judge them. It's not a contest. I'm not looking for weird food. Like, I'm looking for people who have done this and who have a following of people who loves this dish or, this sandwich. And I want everybody in the world to know that. I want to be able to say, hey, this dish is insane, and it's insanely delicious, and you can get it over here. There's 1,000 shows on TV that tell you where to get a burger and tell you where to get a pizza. There's nothing out there telling you where these great food mashups are, these great new flavors. And I said, you know what? If anybody's going to do this, I got to do this because I love it as much as they do. I love trying it and exploring it and bringing it to the forefront as much as they love to make it. And, I said, you know what? I'm not only going to do that. I'm not only going to show people where they can get these great food mashups, but I said, you know what? There's no platform that is out there right now that concentrates on this type of cuisine that gives people from all over the globe their chance to share their recipe, their food mashup, their creativity with everyone in the world. So I said I have to combine this show with a website that allows people to upload their own recipes, their own pictures of what they're doing, and comment on other foods, share comments with other people, share recipes, get to know other people. So if you go on the website and you have this great food mashup and you love doing this, put your email on the website. If you have a blog, put your blog on the website. I'm not looking to control it. You ain't got to pay a fee to me to do it. I want an open forum for people to explore this kind of food and share it with everyone in the world. And the response has been insane.
Yeah, I just went on the website. I was on there the other day. You updated it from yesterday when I was on there. And we were just saying before you came on, food porn. The website, foodmashups.com, is the epitome of food porn. I mean, it is just it's a food orgasm, a foodgasm.
I was hoping, I really was. I was hoping that the people shared the same vision I had as far as, I knew there were people out there doing this food, but to be willing to share it and share their websites, their blogs, giving that voice. And it's been overwhelming. I mean, we're backlogged on stuff now. We've got 5 shows in the can already. I'm shooting 2 more shows next week. There's going to be 10 shows in the season. And the amount of hits that we are getting and the word of mouth on this, I can't tell you how happy I am. I'm completely ecstatic. I can't wait to get up and go to a new place. You know, this week coming up, we're going to be in Baltimore. So we're going to hit some places in Baltimore and Maryland. Now we're setting up going to L.A. There's a few places out in L.A. we want to hit. And it really is catching on.
Now, you had the first episode is out there now, and it's on YouTube, and that's where everything's going to be. Is it all going to be on YouTube, correct?
It's all going to be on. It's going to be on foodmashups.com. But when you click it, you'll be able to get to YouTube. But we're also putting the same content on Food Mashups Facebook, Food Mashups Instagram, Food Mashups Twitter account. So those videos are there. They're on the Facebook, and they're on my personal Facebook. So if you go to Tony Luke Jr.'s public page, it's there. The full episode, when it airs, is also there. And, that first episode, in less than a week, in like 4 days on Facebook alone, not anything else, we were at almost 30,000 views.
Wow. With
no advertising whatsoever. Just word of mouth and people sharing the link.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, you started teasing it, I guess it was a few months back. I saw you start putting this stuff out there. I'm like, what is he up to now? And then you start, little by little, you start seeing these pictures, and you're just like, oh, my Lord. And I wanted to say this to you, too. Like, whenever I eat something that is just incredible, the Adam Richman in me comes out, and I'm just like, oh, my goodness. You have to. Like, oh, my goodness, oh, my goodness. And I'm like, Tony needs a catchphrase. He needs something to say when you eat something.
What's crazy? You are not the first one to tell me that. And I do have a very distinctive look on my face.
You do.
And if you watch it when I eat something with my eyes, it's always that oh my God moment for me. And if you see, and what's going to be really cool, and I can't wait for you to see it. The first show that we did was with my dear friend. She's literally like my sister, Roberta, and her husband Rick is the greatest guy, and they're family to me. And she's a great chef and a great blogger. So the first show, we were feeling our way through, and the show ran about 8 minutes and 30 seconds. And when I watched it, and I watched it with a bunch of people, they were like, I love the show, but I'm not spending 8 minutes watching any show on the Internet. It's got to be 4 minutes. So I'm like, well, how do I condense this show to 4 minutes and really make it move? And I want it to be a little different. Let me tell you something. I cannot wait for you guys to watch the second episode on Monday, this Monday coming up, because we have done some amazing things, even camera-wise and photo-wise, and this show moves now at such a beautiful pace. And if you'll notice with Roberta, I didn't start a show to be the star of the show. If you notice, and you'll notice it even more on the second show, my job is to just highlight the incredible chefs that are doing this food. And you'll notice, I'm in, I tell us where we're at, and then it's the chef show. And then in the end, I come back, I eat it, I tell you what I think, I tell you where it's at, and I'm gone. Because the focus of this show is the real talent, which is the chef and the food. Because nobody wants to look at my bald head. They want to look at the food. That's why they're watching the show. So, Tony, we know what you look like. Yeah, good. Get off camera. Let me see the food. And you'll see in the second episode that I've really concentrated on making the food, truly the food, and the chef's story, the star of the show. I am just the humble host that brings it to you, and I love it. I'm having such a blast.
And you did describe it perfectly. I mean, that's exactly what you're doing. You are letting, in that first episode, you're letting that chef shine, and her food and her creation are the star.
Yeah, the only thing funny about the first episode, I had someone send me an email, and you know what? They were 100%. They were 100% right. They're like, Tony, saw the show, loved it, But you did say something that made absolutely no sense on the show. You said, this is a very simple dish. You didn't by any chance look at the recipe, did you? It's like 24 different steps. I'm like, you know what? I sent it back an email. You're right. I should have never said it's a simple dish. It's a great dish, and it's a simple dish to assemble. But the actual making of the burger patty from the short ribs with the with the seasoning, and it was a quite an extensive process. But I have to tell you, anyone that ventured to do it got a great payoff, because when I tell you, that was so delicious. You know, when the cameras were off, I was like, can we make another one or two of those things? And they're like, well, Tony, what about your diet? I'm like, you know what? I've come to the conclusion. I've lost a lot of weight. I've done what I'm supposed to do. I do food. That's what I do. I will never be skinny. I will never look like a rock star. I do food. I love doing food. I'm happy to do food. And I'm trying to, do the best I can with my weight and keep it at a decent, decent weight. But you know what? I love food, and I love what I'm doing. So I'm going to enjoy the food and enjoy doing this show. I'll worry about my weight a little bit later. I'll worry about my weight when the season's over.
You know what? See, what you just said, I kind of came to grips with a couple years ago, because I've struggled with weight so much to where it's caused me like major depression and pressure and stress, and then I finally just said, you know what? I've been fat all my life. I'm Italian. I love to freaking eat. It's an important part of my day. I focus my days around what I'm going to eat. And why am I beating myself up constantly? Like, I kind of just gave into the world of food.
Yeah, and you got to feel good. Like, there's a weight that I don't feel good at. My perfect weight, when I feel like $1 million, is 240 pounds. I feel like I can conquer the world at 240. When at 200, literally, I'm not kidding you, when I hit 270 pounds, I feel horrible. I can't sleep. I can't breathe. Like, that weight to me makes me feel bad. Now, I'm hovering at around 260, 261. Now, I don't feel as good as I would at 240, and I think I'm going to come to terms that the perfect weight for me in between is going to be around 250. You know what I mean? That I feel good. I can still eat. And I can maintain that weight. But I dropped down originally to 225. And I have to tell you, I was getting ripped. Like, I literally looked like an athlete, but I was miserable, absolutely miserable. So what good is that? And then you can't eat this, I can't eat that. Oh, what did I do? I ate a piece of a bagel. I better run 15 miles now before I go to sleep. You can't live. I'm not saying anyone should be unhealthy or uncomfortably heavy. If you are uncomfortable, if you can't sleep, if you can't breathe, if you can't walk up a flight of steps, then I say to you, look, you really got to bite the bullet, and you got to get down to a weight that you feel good. You don't have to look like a supermodel. You don't have to, look in the mirror and go, I have a 29-inch waist. Hey, if you feel good with a 44-inch waist or a 48-inch waist and you can up and down step, then that's where you need to be. You just need to feel healthy for yourself. You don't need to gauge it by what some model or some athlete looks like. That's ridiculous.
You said something, too, that, like, early on about that, like, you wanted to look like a rock, or you're never going to look like a rock star. And for years, I wanted to be that rock star, and I wanted to look that way. And I never could. I was always, like, even in high school, when everybody was like 150, 160 pounds, I was like 200, 205. I was always the bigger guy. And I'll never forget my sister turning to me one day. I was like 20, 21 years old, and she just crushed me. She's like, look, you need to face it. You're never going to be that thin. Your body's not built that way. You're a big bone guy. You're not meant to be that way. So just stop it. I was crushed. I was like, are you serious? Like, I can never look like that? She's like, no, never. Give it up. I was like, okay.
Let me tell you something. I've traveled a lot of places. I've been lucky enough. I met a lot of people. And there's always exceptions to the rule, but I'm going to tell you something. Those people that you see that are thin, they look good, they're looking great, I would say that 65 to 75% of them, that's their genetics. They don't do crap.
Yeah.
They may work out a little bit, but they don't do crap. I know people that eat 5 pizzas and a gallon of ice cream before they go to bed, and they got a size 25-inch waist. Okay, so some people are born that way. And I know people that work out every day and eat salads, and they have trouble losing a half a pound because that's your genetics. That's why I said when you gain and lose as much weight as I have, and from what you say to me, you have, you come to terms with the fact that it isn't about that. It's about feeling good. It's about feeling okay. And let me tell you something. You'll never be happy until you can look in the mirror and love yourself for who you are, know your limitations, know your strong points. You know what I mean? Know when to say, you know what, I don't feel good. I dropped 10 pounds because I'm overdoing it, and I don't feel healthy. I'm not sleeping good. But don't look in the mirror and go, I need to drop 20 pounds because I want to look like that person. You're not that person. You're you. And anybody in your life that loves you and knows who you are and cares about you will love you no matter what you look like. And those are the only people you should care about. What do you care what strangers think? They don't care about you. Know what I mean? They're not thinking about you at night. They don't have your back at night. You know what I mean? The people that love you do. You have to love you. It's all that counts. Yeah. You're happy.
You're absolutely right.
You'll be happy every day of your life. Trust me.
You're 1,000% correct, Tone. 1,000% correct. Well said. Now what are we eating?
So what are we eating? Yes, what are we going to eat now? But,
what are we eating now?
So I am, I have been turning down work, which I never do. That'll tell you how much I love food mashups. I have been turning down jobs. I won't do this show. I won't do that show. I got a call to do another show. I have been devoting every single minute to getting this website where it needs to be, to getting information. So please do me a favor. Whatever you can do, if you can have people email. I'm not even telling you to promote the show. I'm not even saying, hey, tell people. No, I'm saying ask friends that you know, if they know of any great restaurant, I don't care where it is, that does a great food mashup or a home cook that has something that they do. Please let me know about it. I'd love to look at it, and I'd love to bring it to the attention of everybody that watches this show.
I'm going to tell you the craziest creation ever that I've done. Yeah. And I say this now to my wife. I say it to my kids, and they all look at me like I'm completely insane. Being Italian, growing up, the family and my mom always had lunch meat in the house, right? So this is a very simple one. So every Saturday afternoon for lunch, I'd have lunch meat. So I made a sandwich one day, and it was imported ham, gabagool, bologna, American cheese, boom, and Genoa salami. There was my sandwich with mustard. And on the table as I was eating it was Oreo cookies. So I happened to take a bite of an Oreo cookie after I had a bite of the sandwich in my mouth, and it was, like, incredible. So I was like, So then I made another sandwich, and I put the Oreo cookies in the sandwich. Incredible. And then I just started doing it all the time. And I don't even like Oreo cookies, but in a lunch meat sandwich, I'm serious as a heart attack.
You kind of lost me at Oreo for a second. Now, Oreos on their own, I absolutely love. And as many crazy things as I have seen, I have never, ever seen or entertained the thought of putting Oreo cookies with not just lunch meat, but lunch meat and mustard. You put it with mustard. So now this is something that if you were in front of me right now and you made it, I would have no choice but to try. Now, I don't know if I'd make those big wide eyes like I make and go, oh, my God, this is amazing, or I would look at you, as I've done many times on FrankenFood, and said, oh, my God, never give this to me again. So it would have been one of those two things.
Oh, that's too funny. I'm gonna have I haven't done one in years, probably 20 years. And I always tell my daughters and my wife, and they're just like they're in disbelief. I need to do it again, and I haven't done one in years. And
well, if you really love it, if this is something that you have eaten and you truly love it, and it's not just like a gagged food, okay? You truly like this. You have done it. You loved it. You ate it as a kid. You need to make it again to make sure your memory is correct that this was delicious. And then you literally should go on foodmashups.com and submit that as a food mashup.
Okay.
You should
That's
do
what I'm
that.
gonna do.
If you believe that strongly in it, you definitely need to do that.
I know what I'm doing on Sunday now. Oh, it's too funny. So,
that's great.
Like, the whole food mashups. I mean, like you said, you're like really devoted to this whole thing, and you're really pushing this whole idea and brand now.
I put everything. I'm not kidding. I put everything else in my life on hold. I really believe that there is a huge market for this, that people that enjoy this kind of food and have been experimenting with it, they're too spread out. Like, they're putting it on Facebook, they're putting it on Instagram. The problem with that is, you put it on Instagram and Facebook, people go, oh, yeah, it's cute. This gives you, like, when you go to a sporting event, you like sports. That's why you go. So you wouldn't be throwing a football around at a concert. Even though people would say, oh, that's cute, some guy's throwing a football, they're there for the concert. So the website, what that does says, everyone that's here is here to watch that show. You know what I mean? And when I say that show, I'm not talking about my show. I'm talking about that show of food porn, that show of food mashups. They're looking to see what everyone else is doing. So there's your audience of people that want to see what you're doing. They want to know who you are, that it's not just random. And I cannot believe that no one has done that before. I really can't.
Yeah, and you know what, too? Like, something else I was thinking, like, how long before somebody like opens like a stand like a cheesesteak stand or something like that, or a little small restaurant, and it's nothing but food mashups?
Exactly. I mean, that's definitely coming, and I mean, I've even tinkered with it right now. The only problem with that is it's like, you know, when TV first came out, right? I mean, it was the greatest invention ever. But in the 50s, I mean, don't quote me, but I maybe 3% of the entire population, or 10% of the entire population had a TV set. Everyone loved it. Everyone would go over someone's house to get it, but no one was ready to take the plunge. I believe that is a tremendous idea for a store. I just think it would have to be strategically, you know, located in certain spots, and I think it's a time that's coming. I just don't think it's a time that whoever opens it is taking a huge financial risk, because some people will be extremely successful with that idea and some people will fall flat on their face because it's not as huge, you know. But then again, in the 70s, if you told me there would be sushi places in South Philly, I would tell you to go see a doctor because you need to get your head examined. You know what I mean? And now it's, you know, it is what it is. So things take time. I felt completely blessed and grateful to be a part of this type of food culture in the stage that it is in now. It's in that great stage where, you know, it didn't start 6 months ago. It didn't start a year ago. It started a few years ago. But it's at a point now where people are really receptive to it, and I feel totally blessed that people kind of look at me as the food mashup guy. You know, it's like, oh, it's Tony Luke's the food mashup guy. The food, you know, because for years I spent trying to be the cheesesteak guy, you know, and now to transition from yeah, I love cheesesteaks, and that is my business, and I try to do it the best I could. But I love food, and I love entertainment, and I love doing all these things, and I'm happy that people allowed me to do that. That they didn't shut me out and just dismiss me. They watched, they looked, and I'm so grateful for that. You have no idea.
Now, how many, like you said, you were the face of cheesesteaks. I mean, nationwide, you were really the face of cheesesteaks for not just Philly, but everybody in the country. They related you to the cheesesteak, and now it's the whole food mashup thing. So I'm thinking, where probably before people would always stop and try to talk to you about cheesesteaks wherever you were, are people now stopping you? Tony, this is what I do. This is my food mashup.
I don't get it as much as I would like, and I think that absolutely will definitely come in time. I still get, Tony Luke, love and hate. And it's funny. I have a new practice now that I do, and like a new habit. We have I think it's a 1-800 number on the website that you can call in, and if you have any suggestions. And I literally can spend a half hour to an hour just listening to all the people that hate me. It is the most hysterical thing I've ever. I mean, if I could play them for you, you would literally be on the floor, dying laughing, because most of the time they're drunk out of their minds, and and then they just can't stand me. How could you get a show? How does someone as ugly as you get to be on television? It is absolutely hilarious, and I never get upset by it ever. I just think that it is hysterical, and I don't hate it because it just shows me that people are paying attention to what I'm doing. They might not always like it, but they're definitely paying attention to it.
That's funny.
So
that
little by
funny.
little, it's getting there, and I try to set goals for myself, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, and that is a goal of mine. I had just said to my one of my business partners, I said, I'm hoping that next year this time, and it's so weird that you bring it up, I said that exact same thing then. I said, I'm hoping next year this time when people see me on the streets, they'll say, here's my food mashup, or check this picture out, what I just did on my food mashup, instead of, hey, love your food or hate your food, whatever. You know what I mean? So it's weird you brought that up, and I was hoping that if people embrace it and they love the show and they watch, what an honor for me. I mean, I would be blown away if I was lucky enough to be that guy that they looked at and said, hey, I did this, or I was always leery about this kind of food, and then I watched your show and I went on your website, and man, I'm having such a great time, and I'm loving food, and my kids are in the kitchen with me, and they're cooking, and the families together. When you cook together, it's such a beautiful thing. And and in Italian families, that's all we did together was cook.
Sure.
You lived in the kitchen. I didn't know what a parlor was. There was a bedroom, you fell asleep. Everyone lived in the kitchen. 90% of everything got done in the kitchen.
That's how you know Tony is Italian and from South Philly, because he calls the living room the parlor.
Yeah, the parlor. Yeah, I don't know. People go. We had the living room. The living room was that spot in the house where that big clunky, china closet was, and where the table opened up, where you ate Christmas dinner at. That was the living room. The parlor's where you had your TV and you had a couch. That was a parlor. For years. I think I might have told this story on your show once. So forgive me for repeating. But, in South Philly, there's a lot of different dialects. The first time I traveled as a kid outside of Philadelphia, I went to Los Angeles. And, I wasn't a kid. I was 18 when I went to L.A. And I went to a hotel. And, I can't sleep with one or two pillows. I need more. And I remember calling downstairs, and I said, excuse me. They're like, can I help you? And I'm like, I need, 2 more pillows. And the woman said, what do you need, sir? And I said, I need 2 more pillows. And she said, sir, I don't think we don't carry pillows. We don't have them. I'm like, how do you not have pillows? I said, it's a hotel. All hotels have pillows. And she said, well, I don't know what hotel. I don't. I said, they're on my bed. You gave me 2 pillows. I need more. She goes, do you mean pillows, sir? Is that what you're trying to say, pillows? I said, yeah, that's what I said, pillows. Because that's the accent.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man, yeah, people, and it's weird. Like people actually will like point out, like, oh, you have a Philly accent, and you think to yourself, like, really? Like, there's that actual Philly accent, but there is.
Yeah, and I've learned to tone it. Like I've learned to tone it down. It sneaks out every once in a while when I get excited, but I don't say pillow anymore. I do say pillow. There are some words that I've learned to just, from listening to people and doing different movie roles. You have to be different characters. If I had $1 for every time the director looked at me and said, oh, you're not from Philly, Tony. Don't say the word. I'm like, well, how do you say the word? And then they would say it, and I would drill it in my mind. Okay, pillow. Not pillar, pillow. And it's not G-eat, it's did you eat. Not G-eat yet, did you eat yet. So, as I got older, I learned to. But when I'm in, I live in South Philly. I still live here. I don't ever see myself not living in Philadelphia. Now I do, because I'm getting older now. I do see myself not living in Philly when it's cold. I'll be back during the summer, but I hate the cold weather. But I don't really. It's difficult for me. Nothing is impossible, and I hate to say I'll never, because that's a joke. My favorite thing is you plan and God laughs hysterically at your plan. But I don't really ever see myself not being in Philadelphia. I mean, it's just it's who I am. I mean, I owe Philadelphia everything. I owe the people in it everything. These were some of the best times and some of the worst times I've ever had has been in this city. No matter where I go, I always rep the city. I mean, it's just, it's who I am, and I love it. I mean, I truly, truly love it. And I love other places too. People get mad. I'll say, oh my God, I love Boston. You're from Philly. That's why I'm like, hey, look, I love Boston. I love Chicago. They're great places, but they're not Philly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Philly's Philly to me.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
I like, but when I'm around people from South Philly, it takes literally, 2 minutes, and then my accent is right back. It's like and it's not even a conscious. See, sometimes I get tongue tied. It's not even a conscious thing that I do. It just happens. I'm hearing people talking, and then 2 minutes later, I'm like, I'm doing it again. I'm reverting back to my normal self. My normal, that is my normal. Speaking correctly is not my normal. That is my normal. So.
How do you say soda? Do you say soda or soda?
I say soda. I always said soda. And I don't say, they go water. I never went water. I go water. But I do go water, not water.
Yeah.
But it's water. There's another one, too, that I say that, but everyone made fun of me for the word like when I was a kid, because I'd always say, I like it. Like, not like it, I like it. And every time I would open my mouth as a kid, they go, hey, Tony, you like it? I'm like, yeah, keep it up. Between that and my nickname as a kid, which was Fat Anthony, was never, and let's just say my childhood wasn't a bed of roses.
Oh, that's funny. Fat Anthony.
Fat Anthony. Hey, Fat Anthony. And then why is it all, here's the other thing that always annoyed me. Is it just ingrained in people? Is there an innate sense of evil that just comes out of people when they look at someone heavy? Do you always, when you're in school, is it necessary to always make the heavy guys skins in a competition? There was always shirts and skins. I need a shirt. What makes you look at me and think it's okay to make you skins? It's 8th grade. I'm in the gym. All right, Tony, you're skins. Oh, really? What a surprise that was. Thanks.
Yeah, thankfully I never got to be skins. I was very happy and proud about that. I lucked out.
But what's funny? 2 things happen when you like that as a kid. And it's funny because I was very heavy as in grade school, but I was very well built all through my teen years because I fought. I was boxing. I was doing all those things, and I had lost all the weight, and I was in tremendous shape when, all through my high school. I had a great time in high school. I got great memories, but grade school was, from, kindergarten to 8th grade, it was just like, and, people, 2 things happen. You either really become introverted and sometimes suicidal. I mean, there were times, I'm not kidding you, that I'd lay in bed and cry and wish that I wasn't here anymore because it's so cruel. Like, some people can be so incredibly cruel that it breaks you down, especially with women, because when you're heavy and you're in grade school, nobody's talking to you. People are making fun of you. And it's funny. For me, I've seen a lot of people it really drugged them down. It really hurt them, and it affected them their whole life. But for me, for some reason, it was the greatest thing in the world that could have happened to me because it did 2 things for me. It taught me to be funny because when I was a kid, if I was funny and they were laughing at my jokes, they weren't making jokes about me. So my brain said, make them laugh, learn how to make people at ease and make them laugh, and it's kind of a defensive mechanism so they don't come at you. And then with women, no woman was looking at me going, oh, my God, I really want to date him. So it really taught me how to speak to women and talk to them to get them to see the inside of me, not the outside of me, and develop my personality. So for me, I took all of that, and instead of, letting that really destroy me, I tried to make the best of it, tried to learn how to get around it, and then later in life, it really taught me to understand people. It taught me, that all people, whether they're thin or they're heavy, they all have these inadequate parts of them that they try to cover up. And as a child, you don't know how to admit it. Like, you don't know how to say, well, I don't like this about me. The way you make yourself feel better as a child is to make fun of someone else, because if you feel, as a child, you feel, well, if I can make fun of them, then I'm okay.
Right.
So there's a lot going on that children don't understand because, we're kids. And it's sad, but you learn to realize that, believe me, not everyone that you pass in the street, I don't care if you think they've got $1 million and drive the greatest car, everyone is carrying some cross. Everyone has something in their life that they're always struggling with, So it's a tough thing. But like I said, for me, it helped me understand things more. It didn't break me. It almost did. Like I said, there were times it almost got me, but, thank God I kind of pulled myself out.
Yeah, Tony, I think you,
I'm sorry.
Not only should you do...
No. A really heavy subject. I apologize. Sometimes I go on these tangents, and I don't think,
I mean, honestly, no bull here. I was going to say, not only with the food mashups, but I think you need to, you could do, a real, self-help type show as well.
Yeah, I'd be the one who needs all the help, man, trust me.
Hey, you know what? We all need help, believe me. Now, how about the FrankenFood show? What's going on with that?
I think they're not going to renew that again. We would have definitely heard something by now. And I have to tell you, Spike was amazing to me and to Josh, and they really were an amazing network to work for. I would love to work with them again. They treated us amazingly well. And I just think that, Spike is not a Food Network, and I think they tried.
Right.
And I think that, even though the show did incredibly well, it really did incredibly well, I think it didn't bring on new viewers. I think that what it did was we got a lot of loyal following from the viewers that are already watching Spike. But I think the purpose of going into food was try to draw people that normally weren't watching Spike to come on board. So I'll say forever that I know the numbers that we did, and I think that show was very successful. I think it was a really great try. I wish they would have given it more time. I do. I think that if they would have stuck it out, another year or two, I think it would have really caught on. But then again, hey, look, I'm not a network guy, and it's easy for me to say it. It ain't costing me no money. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about what the budget is, and I'm one of the hosts of the show. So it's unfair to be an armchair quarterback, per se, and say, well, they should have. I'll tell you what they did do. They treated us great. They were awesome. They gave me a great experience, and they really gave me an amazing opportunity, and I'm forever grateful to them. I would never say one bad word about that network. They really were amazing, and that's the God's honest truth. They were incredible to us, me and Josh. And I'm proud to have been a part of FrankenFood. I really am, and I'm proud of the show. I'll always be proud of that show.
It seemed like a real fun show. I mean, every week you guys just seemed like you were having a blast.
Me and Josh had such a great, and the crew, we had such a great time. It was like a family. It was, I'm telling you, I will never forget it. You never, never, never forget it. It was an amazing, amazing time. I wish it would have lasted longer, but it wasn't meant. That's the other thing I learned. And I got to tell you, if anyone can take anything away from what I'm saying today, I'm going to give you the greatest words of wisdom you'll ever hear in your entire life, and you will thank me forever for it. It's the truth. It took a long time for me to get it. Disappointment comes from believing that you really are in control of your destiny. You can shape it. You can work hard at it. You can prepare for it. But when you realize that every defeat, every setback that you have is none of those things. It's not a setback, and it's not a defeat. It is not where you need to be. Every day I get up and I go, you know what? I want to do this, and it didn't happen. I swear, as God is my witness, when it doesn't happen, I go, you know what? I was not supposed to do that. There's something else I need to do. There's another place I need to be. I need to do something different. This is not where I belong. It's not what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm telling you, when you drill that in your head, I'm not saying you won't be disappointed and say, you know what, I really did want that. That was something I thought I wanted. But when you realize that something better is coming, there's a reason for everything that happens. And if you look at that as not a defeat or a failure, but if you look at that as another opportunity to do something different, something better, something that you never dreamed you would do that you thought you were doing. If I was doing another season of FrankenFood, I would have not been doing food mashups. You know what I mean? Like I want. See, that's how I look at things. And if you can do that and say, you know what, I'm not meant to do this right now. I'm meant to do this. Or it's pushing me to a different direction, you will save yourself so much heartache.
You're right. I say that all the time. You're absolutely right. Wow. Look, life teachings from Tony Luke Jr.
Yeah, life teachings from the cheesesteak guy. Yeah, right.
Now with food mashups, I mean, is the goal with this also too to maybe be picked up by a network?
I never want it off of the internet because I also learned that TV, as great as it is, and I love it, I was reared on TV. That's where I found my escape. It was on television. Food and TV never let me down. I could be whoever I wanted. I wasn't that little fat kid that no one wanted to talk to. I was a cowboy. I was a soldier. You know, you fantasize as a child, and the TV was a way to do it for me. And I love it to this day. I love it. It's the most calming thing for me is to watch television. But we're going away from TV. You know, every year more and more of the millennials, who is going to run, you know, who are the fabric of this country now. I mean, that's our youth. That's where things are going. You know, they watch 60%, 70% of their information comes from the internet. It comes from their iPhones and iPads and computers and Android phones. That's what they do. And I believe that everyone will. I believe that within the next 20 years, 90% of what we take in is going to be through our smartphones and our computers, not our TVs. Our TVs will be an extension of our computers. That's what they will be. I mean, you see it coming now. So I would love to do a show, you know, just food mashups. But I got to tell you, if I did, I would never give up the internet part of that. And I think that, you know, I would like to do it separately. There would be shows on the internet that maybe you couldn't see on TV. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like the internet is what I love, and I've embraced it. And I think that, you know, you can do a lot. I don't have to be. No one tells me what I have to do, what I don't have to do.
Right.
I don't have to worry about advertisers, and you can't say this and you can't say that. And let me tell you something. A hit show. If you get 1 million people watching a show, you know, 2 million people, you've got a hit show. I mean, that's, you know, on the internet, I can have 50 million downloads. I can have 50 million views of a show. You can't get 50 million views of a show unless it's the Super Bowl or the Academy. You know what I mean? It's like, and you could watch it anytime you want. You want to watch food mashups?
Exactly.
No, I'm busy right now, but I'm going to watch it before I go to bed. You can't do that with TV. Unless you DVR, I mean, that's what DVRs do now, basically, because that's the trend that it's going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was a long-winded explanation, but yes, I would love to do TV, but I would never give up what I'm doing on the internet. I think that is absolutely the future of entertainment and media is the internet. It's where all the shows are going to wind up being.
I've been saying the same thing, and you can kind of relate it to with like the music business as well, with like indie music artists, because they now have that too, where they can control their own careers. They don't have to worry about a record company, you know, telling them what to do. They can do it all themselves now, and they can put it all out themselves and be in control of their career. And you're doing the same thing now with the food mashups.
And I'm having, and I really am. I'm having such a great time. And in life, you don't shirk your responsibilities. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, but try to have as much fun as you can, because let me tell you something, this life goes by so fast, dude, in the blink of an eye. You know, too much play's no good, too much work's no good. Life is just trying to find a balance.
Again, life teachings from Tony Luke.
Oh, stop. What was it on Saturday Night Live? Life Thoughts by Jack Handy. Show my age.
I'm telling you.
Saturday Night Live, 1970s. Yeah. Oh God. I don't know.
Funny.
I don't know.
That is funny. So all right. So food mashups. It's the new way of life. It's the future. The future is now. And Tony is the one bringing the future to us, and he's bringing all the epitome of food porn. Food, just incredibility. You were going to be the poster child now of food porn.
I always thought one day I would be a poster child, but I always thought it was the FBI's 10 Most Wanted, so things turned out a lot differently than I thought. This is a good different. I'd rather be this poster child, to be honest. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Definitely.
I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying.
Well, I think you're going to succeed, because I think, you know what, like you said, like this is definitely, you know, a big craze that's really happening. And something else, like, and you said early on, you mentioned it real quick, and something else that's really becoming a big craze is food trucks.
Oh, my God, yeah. because it's a lot different. I was in the food truck business when I was a kid. My dad was, so I grew up in it, and it was nothing like it is today. I mean, it was literally, these are food restaurants on a truck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
right.
and they're creative, and it's the culture. It's phenomenal. It's and they move from spot to spot, and again, it's just, food was always a huge part of our culture, but I think today it's more recognized, and it's respected more, I think, today. And I think we're experimenting, and we're really enjoying it, and it's these are some great times, and there's some bad times. It's like, not to sound like corny, but it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It's true. I think every generation, I think that applies to every single generation. And I think kids today are dealing with so much more information to process than I ever did when I was a kid. Everything is instant now. You know things that are happening a world away on Twitter and Facebook. It's a lot. Kids are under a lot of pressure today to fit in, and a lot of pressure. There's just too much information to process. It's overwhelming. I never had to process that kind of. I have trouble processing it now. I keep blaming it on the fact that I have an old brain, but kids are having trouble processing it. It's a lot. It really is, and I give these kids a lot of credit. It's a tough world to get through. It's a scary, scary place now, but they do it, and there's a lot of great things to come. I believe that. You got to keep a positive attitude. A lot of great things come.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And now I'm very, very psyched even more for the whole food mashup thing. I'm going to work on mine this weekend. I'm going to relive my past with lunch meat and Oreo cookies.
The Oreo hoagie. Yeah. Oreo hoagie. Woo.
How about that?
I'll tell you that. You post it, I'll make it. I'll try it.
I'm going to post it. I'm going to send it in to you this weekend. And you'll be laughing.
I look forward to it. I really do.
Nice. So where can everybody go and find food mashups and send their food mashups into you, and they can go drool and everything else?
Well, it's Food Mashups with an S, and it's foodmashups.com. And if they go on Instagram, it's Food Mashups. Twitter is Food Mashups. Facebook is Food Mashups. But I'd really like to just tell everyone who's listening to I encourage them, man, just post. Start something, start a dialogue, not with just me. Put your email up there. You have a blog, put it up there, man. Get this community going, and just share and just come up with some great stuff, because I, for one, enjoy going on that site every day, seeing what people are putting up and trying different things.
Nice. Yes. Very good.
And like I said, you can always get me on Twitter. Tony Luke Jr. at Twitter and Tony Luke Jr. Facebook. So everything we're putting up, I put up. We also put a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff from what we're doing, and it's great.
Oh,
and
cool.
I always respond to people on Twitter. If I'm on it and I'm looking at it, I normally try to get back and retweet. I enjoy the connection. I enjoy the dialogue back and forth. Even with the people that don't like me too much, I still enjoy that dialogue as well.
All the people leaving you pleasant messages.
Yes, because they're showing me the love.
Absolutely. Now, do you watch MasterChef at all?
I do. When I get, I'm actually watching less and less TV because I've been doing more and more things, so it's hard. I DVR everything, and my girl is, my girl's always with me, through every weekend, no matter where I'm at. She'll either fly back or we'll stay together, and we don't go anywhere anymore because we literally just sit down and I go, honey, I can't go anywhere. I'm behind on Scandal. I'm behind on Blacklist. I'm behind on Empire. I'm behind, like, and literally the whole weekend we'll plan on going somewhere. But then, we just watched 72 hours worth of TV. I'm like, because I don't see anything during the week. My DVR's just piled up. I'm 5 shows behind. Let's not forget Banshee. Now Banshee's out. Empire's out. So now I have a reprieve because all my favorite shows are, they're done for the season. But now the following started again. I'm like, I'm like a TV junkie.
I'll tell you what, the following this year is awesome. I am so sucked into that show.
Yeah, it's very disturbing. Banshee, if you haven't watched Banshee, you really need to watch. And Empire's just crushing it. Like, I love that show. So it's all good, man. There's a lot of good stuff on TV. There's a lot of great things happening, man. There really is. Great music, great art, it's a good time. It is. I mean, it's getting past all the craziness. It's a good time. It really is.
Well, they had 2 years ago on MasterChef, they had the girl from South Philly, Chrissy, who made it to the Final Four. She was the very big, loudmouth, opinionated, typical South Philly girl. She's been on the show many times, and we've become good friends. And actually, I'm having a party at my house on Saturday afternoon for my wife and my daughter birthday party, and she's coming and catering it for me. So I'm going to tell her I'm going to talk to her about food mashups and see what she's got going on, because she's all about food.
Yeah, tell her to put a food mashup up. I'd love that. That'd be great.
Cool. Yeah, I'm going to tell her.
So whose birthday is it?
It was my wife's birthday the other day, and my daughter's birthday is next week. So I combined them together.
Please say happy birthday to both of them for me, please.
I will.
Because
I definitely will.
I'm a March baby as well. My birthday just passed last week.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Too many birthdays. I'm feeling it. It's not that it's too many. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just feeling it now, I'm at that age where I feel every birthday now.
Well, now you just got to stop counting them and just celebrate the day.
I do. I'm going to be 39 forever now, like Jack Benny was. Every birthday.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm going to take that advice.
Yeah, 39 forever. It works.
Hey, it sounds good for me, because I've already passed that point. So, all right, well, I guess we'll wrap it on up, and everybody, they can go to foodmashups.com and look for them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and be prepared to drool and just say, oh, my goodness.
Well, thank you so much. It is always a pleasure, man. Always a pleasure doing the show. I love it.
Absolutely, Tone. Thank you so much, and good luck with everything. And we'll be in touch again, and we're behind you. We keep plugging away for you.
Thank you. Take care. Work on that Oreo hoagie and enjoy the birthday parties.
I will, definitely. You too.
All right, take care, everyone.
You too. Take care, Tone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya. All right, everybody, there he goes, the one and the only, Tony Luke Jr., the man, the myth, the legend himself. I am so freaking hungry now.
Every time we do this Thursday show, I end up signing off hungry as anything.
Yeah, there's been a few times you ran to Wawa afterwards and got food.
Yeah, it's dangerous having the Wawa that close. And it's dangerous that I could just drive over the bridge right now and go to Tony Luke's as well.